Hi everybody, welcome to your second week of your manners class. I am going to start with attention. So the eye contact exercise that we talked about last week, about marking and rewarding your dog for making just a sliver of eye contact. What you want to do in raising the bar with that, something you want to think about in regards to your attention and your eye contact. There are two criteria that you want to think about when you're training to a higher bar. Once you've got your basic entry level position trained, you want to think about how quickly does my dog look at me and how long do they hold eye contact. Those are the two different criteria that you want to think about. In theory, when you're moving forward in training, you should really only try to work on one criteria at a time to make it clear to your dog what it is you're looking for and what they're doing better. So in my opinion, I suggest working on the fast criteria first. So rewarding only the faster eye contact responses that your dog gives you in response to their name. So keep in mind that what we tend to do as humans is we actually tend to, we're a little bit more inclined to offer them reward when they've struggled a bit. So as an example, because you have to remember that dogs will, again, they'll repeat the behaviors that we've rewarded. Keeping things black and white and clear to them it's just more effective for training. So if we're rewarding kind of varied responses that they give to us, then they're going to continue to give those varied, maybe gray zone kind of responses. But if we are only offering food rewards to the best responses that they are giving us, those are what they're going to bring to the table more often. So when I say we're inclined to reward the sloppy behavior, what that means is that if we ask our puppy or a young dog to give us attention and they struggle with it, and we have to ask them 2 or 3 times, or it takes them 20 or 30 seconds before they finally engage with us, our instinct is to reward that. That's not the case when we're trying to get better. That is the case when we're trying to establish a foundation behavior, but when we're trying to improve upon it, we only want to offer food rewards to the better responses. So I still encourage you to offer praise and some feedback and connection to your dogs, even for the slower responses, or if you've had to call their name a couple times. Good job, good boy. Giving them a little feedback and a little bit of praise is helpful. It's not that they're doing it wrong, they're just not doing it to the level that's earning a paycheck anymore. Trust me, dogs will notice the absence of reward, they really do. When you're training with motivational and positive reinforcement, the opposite of a reward is no reward. It's not punishment, it's that you're not getting the possible or potential reward or paycheck that I have. The other thing that I'll sometimes use with my dogs is I'll just disconnect from them. So, no, I'm sorry, you missed the opportunity to work. Not necessarily for attention, but anyway, but I'm kind of getting off track. So again, I'm not going to be able to give you a really, really solid demo with Riggs because he's pretty good at this. If I was super set up to do videos outside and had a tripod and fancy stuff, I'd like go to the park where you could see him distracted and see me trying to reward only the better responses that he gives. Who knows? Maybe in a couple weeks I'll do that for you guys. It's hard to say. All right, but I'll try to give you a little bit of a perspective. Here, Bob. All right, so if I consider that his response to my calling his name is slow, I'm not going to offer him any reward. I am going to try to just distract him a little bit with this toy and my movement a bit. Boy, if I could hit the toy. See, he's pretty spot on. Yes, he looks back at me often, very quickly. Yes, so I'm just rewarding that because he's looking back quickly. Mary,
Yeah.
you would never do me a favor, would you?
Sure.
Do you want to just stand off in the corner, distract my dog a little bit?
Sure.
Yes. Okay, so he's still giving me great eye contact. Yeah, just kind of stand over there and just kind of clap your hands or offer a distraction. Hey, Riggs. Yes. Right, so he's still, and can you call Josie and hold her?
Joe's.
Good
You
one.
want to stay here?
Yeah, I do want you to stay there.
Joe's.
Go, Joes. Way go. Way go. here's toss a treat for her. Riggs. Okay, so, oh, that was a fail because Riggs got that cookie. Good, Joe's got that cookie. Riggs. Yes. Okay, so he did actually look up pretty quickly from that. Yeah. If you want, you can pop her in the crate and then offer a distraction for him. Good boy. Riggs. Yes. Again, see how he was distracted and he looked away, but then he looked back at me quickly. Riggs. Yes. Those are the only ones I'm going to offer a food reward for. Maybe squeak this toy over there. Riggs. Don't let him have it, just squeak it. Good boy. Good boy. So he was slow that time. He continued to be engaged with Mary and her toy. Just squeak it and don't let him have it. Riggs. Riggs. Yes! What he wants is the toy and not the food that I have, which is a bit of a struggle. Just squeak that toy a bit, Mary. Riggs. Good boy. That's a good boy. Squeak it. Riggs. Good boy. That's a good puppy. Squeak it. Riggs. This is tough for him because he really would rather have that toy. Good puppy. What a good boy. Good job. Come here. Come here. Sit. Sit. Good boy. Riggs. Yes. Good job. Squeak it. Riggs. Yes. Good boy. Keep squeaking it. Just keep repeatedly squeaking it. Riggs. Yes. Okay, so now he's giving me, that's great, thanks. Okay, but he can have that toy. So you couldn't see him when he was off camera, but if I wasn't saying yes, it meant that he was not staring at me or looking at me. I should have put him on leash, I guess, to start. Maybe just pop her right back in that crate. So yeah, so I just offered him a little bit of praise when he did, because it was really, really hard for him. He's got one of his people that he knows standing there squeaking a toy, and he really wants that toy. So the fact that he even took his attention off Mary and the toy and looked at me, I still offered him praise. He's not wrong. He's just not as right as I want him to be to earn food rewards. So it was a little better when I brought him closer. I made it a little easier for him. I helped influence his choices a little bit just by keeping him closer. And I rewarded when he looked at me quickly. So again, hopefully that gave you a little bit of a perspective on raising the criteria and raising the bar with the attention. Only offer food rewards to the fast responses to their name. All right, that's how we get better. And like I said, here in my house, in my yard, even on my regular walks in the environments that we go to often, he is spot on. He's really great with his eye contact. But if it's busier, like now that people are out and about a little bit more, we went for a walk last evening actually, and there was a couple of dogs out on a walk. There were kids playing, like lots of kind of noises to distract him, and I definitely struggled. He didn't get as many food rewards there, let's just say. I did struggle with getting in some eye contact, but I knew that the environment was really hard for him. So I definitely offered him some praise in connection with me. Good job for connecting, even though there was lots going on that he wanted to consume himself with. And then when he did offer me, when it got a bit easier and he did offer me some faster responses, those ones got food. All right, that's how you raise the bar with your attention. So down, I'll just review that again. Again, I don't want you to go too much further with it, but often when I teach a live group class, I don't often get to down in the first night anyway. Come here, buddy. Quick. So just a quick review. I say my verbal at the point of commitment when I'm luring my dog. Flat. Yes. And you can use whatever verbal you like. I use flat. You can use down, that's fine. Everybody. Flat. Yes. Good boy. Again, I really encourage using a little bit of shaping, which is rewarding your dog's natural choice to do a behavior. Yes. Usually, so with this puppy, when he was a babe, I practiced some lure and reward, just like you saw in a training session. And then I very quickly, in that same training session, just waited him out. He offered me some down positions, and I rewarded those. So if you're struggling, okay, Papa, come on, Papa, that's the boy. If you're struggling with getting your dog into position, practice some lure, yes. Practice some lure and rewards in a session. Maybe keep your puppy on a leash, step on their leash so they can't make too many choices or investigate too many things. But practice some lure and reward, and then just stand there and wait. Riggs, good dog, come on, buddy. Just stand there and wait. And if they start offering, yes, to lie down on their own, make it a rewarding spot for them to be. I really like shaping a down. I really like it a lot. For me, down is my default behavior. It's the behavior that I reward my dogs for lots for going into that position on their own, because a dog that's lying down is usually not getting into trouble. A dog that's sitting can jump on people a little bit more quickly. A dog that's lying down, probably not going to jump on anybody. It's probably not going to steal food from your table. Probably going to learn to just kind of lie down and hang out in your house, which even for this busy little guy, that's and now I'd be lying if I said he did that all the time. He runs around here a lot with toys, but yeah, he's got a really great default down in lots of different environments, and it was taught based on how I rewarded him. And Josie's going to show up here again. Hi, Jose. How are you? Jose has a nice default down as well. We hang out here if we're. She's okay at the moment. When we hang out in a training class and we're doing some, I'm demonstrating or chatting about the next exercise. It's not long that she usually will, and there we go. She'll usually just lie down and wait for me. And that was created based on the rewards I gave to my dogs for choosing to go into this position. So next week I'll talk a little bit more about how to progress away from your luring, but it's still kind of early on, I guess, for some of you guys in training. So yeah, just lure them into position, say your verbal cue at the point of commitment, and then just hang out and see if they offer it on their own a little bit. You can either toss a treat to them, or you can reach right down and food reward them. Yeah, that's really all the advice I still have for you on down, because usually it's this week, like the second week, that is the first time that I talk about it. So yeah, keep kind of going forward with that. Again, if you're really struggling with getting them into position, or they're not wanting to stay there for a long time and they don't like to offer it, do not reward your sits as much. So if your sits are spot on, only reward your sits for a sit stay or heel position once we get into that, or sit for your food or something. But try not to give your puppies lots of treats for sitting, especially if you're working on downs. I actually, because I like down so much and I train it lots, Riggs I don't think we really haven't worked on it much. He doesn't really know well how to sit from a down, and down is always his go-to. So let's see what he'll do. Hey buddy, can you sit? Yes, I thought. Joe, sit. See, Josie knows. Riggs, sit. Nothing. I've done an overachieving job of training my down. Mind you, I haven't really, you're perfect, Josie, aren't you? I haven't really worked much on getting him to sit from a down, but clearly it's something that I should work on a little bit more. Okay, come on. Good dogs. So yeah, so that's your down going forward. Now, the next thing that I'm going to share with you or talk to you about is, in my opinion, it's a game changer. It's one of the best kept secrets in dog training, period. It involves teaching your dog to be a little bit more calm and thoughtful in times where they might want to be overexcited, overreactive, overstimulated, or afraid. It's definitely one of the best things I've ever learned about dog training, definitely the most profound thing I've ever learned about dog training. And it, in my opinion, it's the best kept secret. It's the magic of training dogs and keeping them thoughtful and connected with you as a handler. I'm going to talk a little bit about physiology of the dog's brain and how it works. I always give credit to the lady who taught me this technique. Her name is Brenda Aloff. She's an amazing dog trainer that lectures all across North America. And I think her training center is called Heaven on Earth. But you can find her on the internet. You can find some videos of hers on YouTube. Anything you can read by Brenda Aloff is amazing. A little heavy in the content. It's very much a dog trainer who trains dog trainers kind of stuff. But yeah, she's spot on. So this exercise is called Be Still. Can you keep her in there?
Yeah.
Thanks. Your popcorn will help. So this exercise is called Be Still. And it is teaching your dog to, instead of react and fight your touch, to be calm and think about how to get out of a situation. So dogs have, and this is very real deal stuff, dogs have hindbrain behaviors and they have front brain behaviors. The hindbrain behaviors are all the things that we like least about our dogs. It is the emotional, overreactive, instinctive area of the brain versus the front brain, which is where behaviors are learned, decisions take place, thoughtful behavior happens, thoughts happen, learning happens in the front brain. Hindbrain is all fight or flight. Again, it's that reactive part of the brain. So when we talk about dogs being reactive, that's a very general term for lots of different things. Reactivity can range from inability to focus in a certain environment that's too distracting or exciting to barking at and biting the mailman. Or chasing cars down the street. So anything that is like a predatory kind of behavior, anything that is that doesn't require a lot of thought but is more instinctual, that is hindbrain stuff. The overexcitement that your dog gets when people come to visit, that's hindbrain. It's all emotion. Love me, love me, love me. They're not really thinking about, oh, I need to be polite and mindful. They're not. But you can teach them to do that. So this simple technique may not look like a lot, but it is a game changer. It can make everything better. It's well worth your price of admission to this class to really kind of work on getting this skill underway, because it's worth the work, it's worth the sweat, it's worth the frustration, and the only way to get good at it is being persistent. Force is not a part of this program or this technique, but persistence in your pressure is key. So what I'm going to do, and this demo is always much better with a class dog, always, because I'm usually taking an overexcited, undertrained dog or not trained dog and teaching them to kind of stay connected and be a little bit more thoughtful and less reactive. My Riggs puppy is who I'm going to use for the demo. He's laying here half asleep, but I'm going to rouse him a little bit, get him a little bit excited, and show you how to watch for some calming signals and cues, and how to judge a bit more thoughtful, calm behavior. So with this exercise, what you want from your dog is I'm going to hold him in a stand. Usually I kind of stabilize my hand along my leg so that I'm not moving all around if my puppy is moving all around. And I'm just going to rub constantly on the body. And that rubbing and that touch is just to provide some stimulation. It's just to give your dog something to kind of resist. And initially they will want to resist it. Your young dogs may try to sit. You should try to encourage them to stand. If they try to lay down, you should encourage their body up. If they try to bite you, you just try to hold strong. Continue to rub their body. If they struggle around too much, sometimes I just kind of hold still and wait for them to settle. And once they settle, I start doing the rubbing again. What you're waiting for is your dog to have 4 still feet, so they can't be dancing around, they can't be squealing with delight or undelight, upset, and they need to give you a calming cue. Calming cues in dogs include lip licking, yawning, or cleansing sigh, relaxation sigh. Relaxation size, the golden ticket, but you probably won't get that right away. I have yet to get that out of my Riggs puppy, and he and I have been together now for like 8 months. So, well, maybe not quite, but close. We've been together a while. So as an example of how much work it can be, when I got Riggs, he was a lot of puppy. He's certainly a lot more than what I had been used to. And going from trained dogs that are like comfortable slippers, that know what they're doing in my life and know how to behave. So I get this over the top border collie puppy, and I'm like, all right, Angie, put your money where your mouth is. This is the moment. This is the moment where you can get a hold of this puppy, your be still, the magic, all of that. This is going to really make or break him. And I thought, like, whoa, it's never going to happen. He's too crazy. So for him, at 10 weeks old, me trying to do this calming business just in my house with no real outside stimulation other than just the environment in my house, there was no way he was going to give me a lip lick calming cue. This puppy grinded his teeth. I've never in all my years of teaching this in class to varied dogs and puppies, I've never felt a dog grind its teeth when I did this, but my puppy did, so that was fun. So my first level of kind of relaxation with him that I saw or felt was that he stopped grinding his teeth. So even though he didn't give me a calming cue, he wasn't grinding his teeth and resisting me anymore, so I let him go. And he never fought me like with a lot of like squealing or really like fighting me in his body or trying to get away. He just resisted me that way. So when he stopped grinding his teeth, I would let him go, and then we very quickly, probably within a week, worked up to in environments where he was relatively comfortable, still really in my yard or in the house. I did manage to get that lip lick calming cue, woo, for the win, and it's just only gotten better since then. I am going to give you a brief demo now. In a couple weeks, I will give you another demo that I recorded a couple weeks ago of doing some varied releases with the Be Still and a little bit more excitement from my puppy. But he's sleeping right now. I'm going to wake him up and get him excited about a toy. What you're going to see is that I'm going to grab him, I'm going to hold him by his collar, I'm going to start rubbing him. He'll immediately start giving me some calming cues, so he'll almost immediately lick his lips. For your dogs that are just learning this, you can let them go when they immediately lick their lips. For him, I'm going to hold him a little bit longer because we're working on some different things and we're working at a higher criteria. But for brand new dogs, don't hold too long. You want them to know that they are actually in control of being let go. They just have to give you the right signal. They have to give in to your touch rather than resist it. So, 4 still feet, holding the collar, rubbing the dog, they give you a lick of their lips. The reward for this exercise is that you let go and step back a bit. You give them the space. You let them be free. So because you're going to use this exercise in environments where your dog is maybe overstimulated, overexcited, you want to teach them to come back and connect with you. They're not naturally going to do that, but you can train it. It works so well. So after you get your puppy calm, what you'll see my Riggs dog does, he usually comes back and sits and gives me eye contact because I trained that. And when I reference my Briar dog, I say Briar was the most reactive dog I ever owned. This exercise saved our relationship. It really did. He was a dog that would go from 0 to 60 just like that. His reactivity was that he would scream with delight, or excitement, or panic, or there's a dog in the yard, I'm gonna bark like crazy. In the long term, I didn't have to do all this rubbing business. I literally would just have to touch him, and that big beast of an eruptive, reactive dog, he would immediately lick his lips, calm, and connect with me. Why did he connect with me? Because I taught him to do that after I did the calming. All right, so you're going to calm your dog, you're going to look for a calming cue, give them a physical release and praise, encourage them to come back and connect with you, ask them to do something simple like sit or lie down, and reward them. So this is what it looks like. Hi, buddy. Wow, I got that squeaker that you were so distracted by a little while ago. What a good Bubba Roni. Give me that, give me that, give me that. Woo. What are you doing? Woo. He said, I was trying to have a sleep, Mama. I'm trying to have a sleep, Mama. Oh, he's so tough. What a tough little puppy he is. What a tough little puppy he is. Give. Ah. So you see he immediately gives me that licking to tell me that he's giving in. I'm holding him just a little longer because again, he and I are working on just staying a little bit more calm and thoughtful for a little longer. Your puppies you're going to release immediately for that licking. Good boy. Riggs, come. Sit. Yes, good boy. Push. Yes, good. Riggs, heel. Heel. Yes, good boy. Flat. See how much faster he is at his lie down than his sit? I overtrained it. Okay. Ready. Uh-oh, Josie, get out of here, you crazy. Go, Joes. Wait, go, babe. Wait, go, babe. Give me that. Let's try it the other way. Come here. Ooh. Oh, he's so silly. Don't die, give. If he moves, see how he moved as he licked his lips? That tells me he's not totally giving in. When I do this, I focus on my dog's face. Good. Good boy. Riggs, come. Sit. Flat. Touch. Touch. Yeah. Touch. Yes. Good boy. All right, so you can see that he went from being a little bit wild with his toy and really involved in that and it's not terribly thoughtful, to coming back and being a bit, but she's fine, to coming back and being a bit more responsive. Okay, bud, to me. Really all he wants is his toy. He's way more toy motivated than anything. Josie's in for the free cookies. Yeah, so that exercise, that be still exercise, you're going to do, you're going to use it long term when your puppy's overexcited, overstimulated, stressed, when greeting people when they come into your house. That's what I still use it even for Jojo. Josie's super excited when people come in, and I usually, so now I have two super excited dogs that I will grab and just hold briefly. I don't even really have to do the rubbing for either of them at this point. I just give them a little bit of a hold and they like, okay, just be a little more calm. And when I see them give me one of those lip lick cues, as long as they're not squealing and like dancing around, I let them go. They greet people a little bit more thoughtful. They're still excited, but they're kind of down a level. So you're going to use it in those environments long term, but when you're training it, like right now, when your puppy's kind of getting used to it over the next few weeks, do not only pick the times when you need it to train it. Pick just random times like I just created with my puppy. Just grab them and do it. Get them used to it. When I run regular puppy classes, I usually have people do that be still exercise in between the play session. When we break the puppies up, we do the calming. They come thoughtful, connected with the person, do a sit, do a down, get a treat, go back and play again. All right, just to break it up. It's magical. Train it, work it, changes everything. All right, 2 things left to cover. Hopefully, yeah, I should have enough time to do both of those things. I'm gonna put my Josie dog away, and then I'll put my Riggs dog away, and I'll play with Josie. Josie, you stay. Riggs, That was a terrible stay. What a terrible stay that was. Right? Josie says in her defense, she didn't leave the spot. Still a terrible stay. All right, so I want to talk a little bit about stay. And I know I did a demo kind of last week with Riggs here. So I just kind of want to reiterate that. Jojo, good girl, Josie. So really what I don't have anything for you, babe. Really what I encourage people to do, stay. When training their stay, is don't go too far too fast. Don't go too much of a distance. Consistency is key. Get that duration under your belt. Everyone wants to go far away from their dogs, but stay close. Yes. Okay. That's a demo where you'll be staring at my rear end the whole time. So instead I'm going to do it this way. Josie. Good girl. Stay. So when I'm teaching it to start, I usually don't go more than 3 to probably 6 feet at the most. But if I don't have consistency at this distance away from my dog, I do not move back to this step. I stay here. And what I mean by consistency is that your dog stays in position until you tell them that they can move. So if your dog moves at any time, remember, hands right to their collar, put them back to the very spot that they were. Stay. If they hold position, step forward. Yes. Offer reward, repeat your stay. I encourage you as much as possible to feed your dog for holding position. Yes. Stay. I don't tend to give rewards when my dog releases. The release of the stay is the reward, in my opinion. So I give all my paychecks for holding position. Having said that, for my Riggs puppy that is a little bit more toy motivated, I will often give him food rewards for holding position and then release him out to a toy to get as his grand final reward. He still got most of the information about what I liked when he was holding the position. So again, every dog is a little different. Knowing your dog and what they find rewarding is key as well. But stay is a very simple equation. Don't go too far of a distance away. Work on getting some solid duration. Yes. Stay. Always repeat your stay cue after you've given a treat. Once you get some consistency at let's say a 3 to 4 foot distance, you can go further, up to 6 or 8 feet. Yes, good girl. This is easy peasy for Josie. Okay, good girl. And again, make sure that you give them a bit of a release, that they are able to move out of position, that they know that they are all done. If you have a dog that is super keen and just wants to continue to hold their stay, that might be the only time that I might toss a treat to create the release, but it's not something I've ever had to do. I use a little bit of a physical movement to move my dog, and away they go. All right, so one last exercise to show you. Usually I train it on a mat when I'm doing it in class, and it's just teaching your dogs to target a visual target and lie down. Again, you're going to see this in an already trained dog, so it's not quite as, it's not as good of a demo in my opinion, but here we are. So again, usually I train this on a mat, but I'm going to use a dog bed because it is what I tend to use here for the dogs. Here go. Josie, sit. Stay. So I use this exercise. I don't have to use it for Riggs as much because he's not as food motivated. Josie and the Aussies I've had over the years are highly food motivated. They love to scavenge. They love to hang out, or would love to hang out while we eat food or prepare food. So this exercise I use, hey Josie, just wait a minute, we're not ready yet. You're a good girl, you're fine, just wait. I use this exercise when I prepare food, when I'm eating food, or if I have company. So you can see I have just a galley kitchen. My dogs aren't allowed in the kitchen when I'm prepping food. I kind of use this big mat that I have here as my guide. As long as my dog's on this giant big mat that I have here, that's fine. When I'm eating, so I usually have a table sitting right here. When I'm eating, this dog bed is like over here somewhere, and Josie has to lay on that while I eat. Again, I haven't. Riggs does know this exercise. He knows how to do a downstay on a mat, but I don't need to use it for him when I'm eating because he's not one to like hang out around my feet and try to look for crumbs. He's off entertaining himself with toy or bone, so I haven't had to implement it at food time for him, nor do I think I ever will, but time will tell. But with Josie and the other Aussies I've had past, this is what I always did at mealtime. My Breyer dog, he was excellent. I would sit down and he'd immediately go to his bed. But it was trained. So initially I trained this by just teaching dogs to have fun going to a mat or a dog bed. I do like to train this on a mat because I like to be able to have something that I can easily take to a different location. Doesn't always have to be a big cumbersome dog bed. And what I'm going to show you with Josie is kind of the trained version of it. But in the beginning, you really only need to reward your dog for just stepping on the mat. I don't care if they lay down, I don't care if they sit, but if they go to the mat, I don't give them a bunch of verbals about it. I just wait them out, and if they put their feet on the mat, I mark and treat it, and I create a behavior that way. So it would look kind of like, okay, Joes, okay. Yes, so my dog just investigated the mat, I mark and reward. Yes, okay, so again, I'm sort of like toning it down a little bit with Josie. I'm just marking and rewarding her for going to the bed. Yes, good girl. She thinks this is cool because usually she has to do a downstay on it. Come, good girl. Yes. Okay, so in the beginning with your young dogs, you can just reward them. Wait, sit. You can just reward them for going to the mat and stepping on it, all right? In the long term, you want to reward a downstay on there, but I will, in a couple of weeks, I'll talk to you about kind of progressing with that. But trust me, in the beginning, don't make it too hard. This should be a fun game. I step on the mat, I get cookies. You can toss a treat away so that they can go chase a treat to create your repetition. They come back, they hang around, they look at you. So if my dog was just to sit and look at me for a while, I'd usually disconnect and walk away. I might just kind of walk around my mat a little bit more. Yes, capture my dog stepping on it, hang around here. Yes, good girl. Good job. But in the long term, this behavior looks like Joe's place. Good. So my dog understands to go and lie down and hold position on her mat or her dog bed or whatever I deem be her place. It could be a towel or a face cloth or a paper towel, any kind of visual target that is different from the rest of the floor is what my dogs should target as their place. You can use whatever kind of verbal you like. I use place. It just works for me. But again, this is the finished product. In the beginning, do not worry about your puppies sitting or lying down on the mats. Just putting their feet on it, getting a reward. Toss a treat for them to go chase, and when they come back, if they step their feet on the mat or the dog bed, reward. Don't use any verbals yet. Don't give them too much direction or things to think about. Let them work this one out for themselves. One of the biggest reasons, one of the biggest reasons I like this to be the dog's idea is because typically I'm using it as a tool when they maybe want to be involved in what I'm doing. So I want to create kind of a fun game that, well, yeah, I'm doing this, but you can be doing this. That's pretty cool. You get cookies. So yeah, I create that and then we build from it. But the very beginning is just teaching your dog to know to go to a visual target for food rewards. Josie thinks it's pretty cool. I like dogs to have good manners. Dogs will be dogs. They're born scavengers by nature. So creating some behaviors to help kind of manage that business in dogs is super helpful. This is one I've used since the beginning of time with any dog I've ever owned. Honestly, Riggs is the only dog. Oh, probably my last Border Collie too. Yeah, they're not the most food motivated dogs. Like, they like food, but they much rather work or work for toys. But yeah, I think that my last Border Collie, Jessie, I don't think that she needed to do this either. Just the Aussies, and the Goldens and the Labs and all those things. Those types of dogs that really are highly food motivated. This is a really good one to have in your toolbox. So that is all I have for you guys tonight. Okay, Joes, you're all done. That is all I have for you guys tonight. I hope you enjoyed the content and the demos that I could show you with my own dogs. I will provide some added handouts and stuff to you as well. And I encourage you, please post me some videos. I love to see it. I love to see the dogs working. I miss seeing people in person. So please post me some videos. Please ask me some questions. Don't be shy. I hope everyone's enjoying it and having fun training their dogs. See you next week.